Hey, welcome to the first edition of the Laundry Room. Um, I'd like to welcome anyone that's listening to a place where you can call home, basically. The Laundry Room is going to be a show that gives a male and female perspective on religion, marriage, politics, relationships, sex, parenting, fashion, media, music, movies, and news. Now, the reason why this show is called The Laundry Room is because it's actually being filmed or recorded in my laundry room slash man cave. So, the reason why I started the laundry room was basically a conversation I had with one of my former students. Now, I've been a administrator at a high school, one high school or another for the past 10 years. No, I do not have my degree of any kind. However, I've been given the opportunity to impart knowledge and experience on a lot of young men and been afforded the opportunity to be a positive influence for a lot of young men in the Washington, D.C. area. I was able to talk to this young man, and what he reminded me of is how much I inspired him as he was growing up through some of the most pivotal years in a young man's life, adolescence. So I told him what I wanted to do, and he kind of guided me to how to do it. It's funny how those that you teach can eventually become those who impart knowledge on you. Hopefully pretty soon I'll be able to have him on this podcast as well, and he'll be able to talk to you about some of the experiences that we had together. We'll be able to laugh, joke, and have all of our listeners have a great time. The theme for this particular podcast, the first of many to come, is new year, new adventure, new faith, and new freedom. And what that actually means to me is, in this new year, I want to break down some previous barriers that I've had before, those that have held me back from reaching out to the world with messages of positivity, of God's light in me that I know I am to share to the world, and this is the laundry room is a new adventure for me. It's taken a great deal of faith to step outside of my comfort zone into a lane that is normally for those that are a lot more flamboyant and influential than I am. And as a result of it, I know it's going to bring a new freedom to me, a new freedom to be able to move in circles that I didn't once move in, a freedom to be able to talk to people in a way that I haven't been able to reach people before. To be able to physically talk to people one-on-one takes so much, and you have to be into so many different places, but an avenue and an avenue like a podcast helps to reach so many. And I'm grateful for God for affording me the opportunity to do it. I just want to get into a couple things in this first one, and very shortly I want to talk about expected content. Over the next couple of weeks, I'll be developing ideas for the show, and again, like I said before, like the themes will be religion, marriage, politics, relationships, sex, parenting, fashion, media, music, movies and news, all things that we talk about on a daily basis in our conversations with each other. But to hone in on all of those and how they affect, number one, black people in general, number two, men in general, and also incorporating a woman's perspective into this idea, or into the conversation is a better word. I'll I next really want to get into my influences and those who actually inspired me to actually do this. The first person that I would like to talk about is Charlemagne the God, and the entire Breakfast Club crew. I, like many other millennials, watch the Breakfast Club, and we see the dynamic that the three of them have, and it's, I'm sure, not easy to do. Even speaking to you right now in this podcast is not really easy to do. But they make it look so effortless. And I'm sure that they have been doing this for years. Their credentials say they've been doing this for years. So naturally, they're a lot better at it, and their finished product is definitely a lot better than mine at the moment. But I aspire to be that, on that level. May never reach it. However, that's what the aspiration is. Another one that has an awesome podcast that I enjoy a lot is Joe Budden. He's a very raw talent. He's one of those you get what you he's one of those what's the word what you see is what you get type of people. He's unique and has found his niche in this climate of media, whether it's being controversial or not. All media these days is good media. Not necessarily saying that that's the road that I want to take to fame or popularity or getting my voice heard, but it is something to be aspired to. If you break down some of the messages inside of all of the chaos, or what may look like chaos, there's a lot of truths there. There may be a lot of opinions, but there's a lot of truth in some of the blurbs that he has spoken. Gary V. Gary V is probably the reason why I'm recording right now. Gary V is very motivational. He's very influential, and he has the foresight of some of the best business minds in the world. Gary Vee is just awesome. And I'm another big fan of YouTubers. YouTubers influence me more than I can say. I've been watching YouTube for as long as I've been able to access the internet at my house, and looking at those people who are actually sitting in front of a camera that's looking at their every move, their background, everything, and for them to be able to perform like that in front of a camera is awesome. Their product is normally edited and perfected, and it takes a lot of work to do that. So I am definitely inspired by anybody who's found a way to either teach somebody something, inspire somebody, or entertain somebody with a camera and their personality. I want to do the same thing. Eventually, the laundry room is going to be a show. I actually have to make sure that the laundry room is actually presentable for a show. So, yeah, I'll get back to that. Another one of my big influences is Washington, D.C. I've lived in this city my entire life. I love the city with my whole heart. And while I would like to live somewhere else at some point in my life, this is home. From Uptown, Howard University, where I grew up, to Southside Shrimp Boat, where I have been for the last couple years of my life. I love this city. Everything about this city, which brings me to, the next person or the next set of people that influenced me, and which is they're not based in DC. They're actually based in Virginia, I believe, but they're just as a bigger part of the culture in the DMV tri-state area as anybody, and that's the Junkies on 106.7 The Fan. They're just someone that I listen to and whose knowledge of sports, humor, and just being all around charismatic is important to me. And last but not least, is going back to where my influences and shout out started, and is the Brilliant Idiots. I've watched that podcast so many times and really, really love the dynamic of the guys on it so much. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm really, really excited about what the possibilities of this show could actually be. I'm really, really excited about all the people that I could possibly influence. Influence is important. Speaking to people is important. Encouraging those who need encouragement at that moment is important, and you never know who might need a word of encouragement, when they might need that word of encouragement. I'll end with this thought. There's a favorite band of mine in the Washington, D.C. area called Black Alley. And in their first album, there's a song that's sung, or it's a song/poem, and it's called Virgin Suicide. And it's just talks about the nervousness that goes along with performing for someone for the first time and you not knowing how your voice is going to be received, whether it's going to be received negatively, whether it's going to be received positively, if what you've wanted to convey is actually conveyed. And it's all of the things that I am experiencing right now as I'm recording this. And it's awesome. It's awesome to finally do it, regardless of how good or how bad it is. It's done. And I can't wait to hear the responses of whoever listens. I can't wait to critique myself. I just can't wait to see what comes of this. This was purposed to be a 16-minute podcast, and we have officially passed 16 minutes, and I don't want to go any further. So I just thank you all for listening, and I will be back with you next week with even better content. That's the goal, to always improve every show.